Emmy, and thank you for the opportunity to participate today. Good afternoon, everyone. As Emmy mentioned, my name is Shoshana Thompson, and I'm a Senior Program Officer at the Transportation Research Board, TRB. And in my role as an SPO, I support standing committees in the Executive Management Issues section. And one of those committees is the Standing Committee on Workforce Development and Organizational Excellence. And so the research that you'll hear about shortly was submitted as a paper to the Workforce Committee. And it was not only selected for presentation, but then later awarded the Charlie V. Wootan Award for 2024. And just, I'm sure most of you probably already know, but we receive over 6,000 papers each year as we prepare for our annual meeting at TRB. And those papers are peer reviewed, and then only a select few are chosen to be awarded one of our paper awards. So I want to share a little bit about the Wootan Award, and then I'll turn it over to our presenters. So the Wootan Award is awarded each year for the most exceptional paper in the area of policy and organization. And this award honors Charlie Wootan, who was a former director of the the Texas Transportation Institute, the Texas A&M University System, and he was the director from 1976 to 1993. He was also very active in TRB for many years, and he served as the chairman of the TRB Executive Committee in 1983, and also served as a group and council chair for our Technical Activities Division. And so this award recognizes research that's not only academically rigorous, but also relevant, forward-looking, and impactful for the transportation community. The award was established in 2004, and over the years, winning papers have covered a wide spectrum of topics, from strategic management at state DOTs to real-time visualization tools, to even civic engagement through transportation organizations. So as Emmy mentioned, we have two of our paper authors here for the 2024 award. So again, congratulations to them. And so I will now turn it over to Dr. Ruth Steiner and Dr. Mohammed Hadi so that they'll share their insights from the paper. So again, congratulations and thank you for the work that you guys do. And we're looking forward to hearing about your projects.
Thank you, Shoshana. So this, we need to acknowledge a number of authors. This was a project through the Southeast Transportation Research, Innovation, Development, and Education Center, or STRIDE, as we know it in this part of the world. And it was one of the FAST Act, the Fixing 2016 University Transportation Centers that was headquartered at the University of Florida. The authors include myself and Mohammed, both at Florida universities. Stephen Click is at Tennessee Tech. Mary Mohebi and Jeremy Griffin are also at the University of Florida, Virginia, Sisio Picu, and Mohammed Sharif are at University of Alabama, Birmingham. Dimitra Michalaka is at the Citadel, and James Martin is now retired director of the LTEP Center at the North Carolina State University. Next slide, please. This is showing the universities in the STRIDE Center, and this was one of the projects selected to be completed and really was a part of workforce development and trying to understand, are there specific special needs, both unique to the Southeast, but also in general, and thinking about how do we as a university research center researchers, how do we take our work and leverage it for tech transfer. Next slide, please. So the study itself was quite broad, and we looked at 5 aspects of it. First was understanding current workforce development practices, identifying the key challenges, defining workforce development within this context, exploring the potential roles of university transportation centers, and actionable recommendations for enhancing transportation workforce development. We're not going to spend a lot of time on those highlighted in yellow, but we'll look at key challenges, the potential roles for universities, and actionable recommendations for enhancing transportation workforce development. It's also important to mention that this is not just looking at transportation system management, but it's looking broadly, although it is some of the same issues in TSMO. Areas of transportation are important in other areas of transportation as we will go forward. Next slide, please. So the kinds of key challenges we identified is that we have the baby boomers are retiring at a very rapid rate, and the discipline is changing a lot with increased automation. And where we have growing demand, we also have greater competition from other sectors. We also have greater needs for students coming through the university with different kinds of skills. So whereas a generation ago, some aspects of computerization were not, they're much more important as we go forward. We also have a need to transfer to the next generation what the boomers and we have to transfer that knowledge into the next generation, and we really need to attract the next generation. And some of them aren't going to be find my grandmother's transportation system that appealing to them. Next slide, please. And other issues we identified is the lack of gender and racial diversity, and not just that, and recognizing that the next generation is very different in terms of its diversity than our generation. And additionally, because of the changing nature of the transportation, there is a need for other kinds of interdisciplinary skills. The body of knowledge continues to grow. I would argue, for instance, 10 years ago, we were talking about use of apps-based traffic, calling up a car or getting an mobility as a service. All of those kinds of skills are very different than even 20 years ago. And the other is a recognition that there are needs for soft skills, including management, communications, and other aspects. The next presenter, I'm going to turn it over to Mohammed right now.
Thank you, Ruth. Just a brief introduction of myself. I know that Ruth did not introduce herself. Ruth, you want to introduce yourself? Or,
yes, I'm a professor of urban planning at the University of Florida.
So I am a professor at FIU. I have 35-year experience in TSMO, 10 years in consultant and 25 years in academia. I have been teaching an ITS class for the past 23 years, which try as much as possible to include the elements of technical skills that we are talking about. And also I've been involved in several efforts since I was involved with ITS America in 2000 or 2001 on workforce development. And through the years, I was involved with the USDOT JPO program, and then the NOCO effort several years ago. I was involved in that too. So what I'm talking about are a few slides that talk about what are the potential roles of universities and UTCs. Although it is in the paper, it's the UTCs, but we thought that it is also, universities also will have to play some roles in that. Main thing is, one of the important thing is to communicate realistic expectation of the transportation careers. That's, I think, is very critical, because a lot of students, even in civil engineering, after the students finish the 4 years in college, they really don't know what transportation engineering field is. And we need to communicate to them to attract them from, for example, going into other civil engineering fields, like structure or soil mechanics. That's the reason why they go there in the first place. And we also one of the important roles is to increase the opportunities for industry exposure. We found out that the students and get attracted more to our field and learn more when we have people from the industry come and speak, and even they can jointly teach classes. In most of universities in the summer, they don't offer classes because the professors are engaged in research in the summer. So in a few years, we invited a number of people from the industry that share teaching a class. It worked very well. Mentorship and internship also. And then coordinate regional K-12 recruitment and exposure. That is critical, especially with the technologies, with the emerging technologies. I think students will get attracted to, the new generation is get attracted to robotics and automation and so on, and AI, obviously. Then we also are getting competition from the other industries, and I know that even graduate students in transportation, other industries get into them and pull them from so banks and IT companies. They get into competing with us even after students get their degree in transportation, graduate degrees. And we need to develop framework for recruitment outside the traditional engineering planning path. So the college career fairs, maybe talking with other student organization and other department or colleges, even having multidisciplinary programs where we collaborate on having the students in different disciplines talking to each other and talking to the professor to identify a career. And then collaborate and share resources and help develop curricula. I think this is also very important, and we have been discussing this on the national level for a while in TISMO, and we have been discussing this. And then improve the universal understanding of challenges, solution, and available resources. So we need to create awareness of all the challenges that we are facing, the one that Ruth has that Ruth talked about, and we work together on mitigating these challenges. And then we also need to develop open platform forum for stakeholders, where we catalog existing opportunities and also for building the workforce, and allow the stakeholders through that platform to communicate and share information. Actionable suggestions is we identify 4 actionable suggestions toward the end of the paper. The first is to catalog existing workforce development resources, such that the agencies and even universities and other private sector and public sector, they can go and look at these resources to build their workforce. Develop technical skills training, and then provide resources to improve online training. We identify online training to be a very important sources, considering the budget and time out of the office. Online training we identify as a potential strong candidate. And then we also have a recommendation to develop best practices in interdisciplinary education. This is also very challenging because each department has their own curricula, and it is very difficult to squeeze in things from other departments. Let's say if civil engineering want to introduce computer science classes in the undergrad, it is almost impossible, but there may be a way to address that, and we need to start talking about this. So that's I think is the last slide.